any of those different things. That's servant evangelism. I know I'm throwing a lot at you here, but especially when it comes to invitational evangelism, this is what made Reinhard Bonnke so popular, and this is what made Billy Graham so popular, was invitational evangelism, because it's so powerful and it works so fast. And for Americans, I can honestly say it is one of the most popular ways to lead someone to Christ, okay? So more than 90% of people in churches in America, that's how they got saved, was through friends and family, mixed with invitational evangelism. However, you could mix invitational evangelism with servant evangelism. I'll tell you a funny story. There was a guy here in the U.S. in a city named Cincinnati. In Cincinnati, this young man was a new Christian, and every week he would pray, God, what do you want me to bless people with? One week God spoke to him and said, buy bottles of water and stand at the stoplight and just give away water to people and tell them Jesus wants to, fill you with his, be the well of water on the inside of you. Something simple, right? That's servant evangelism. One week he made people, cookies and was giving people cookies. And another time it was something else. Well, one week God spoke to him and said, I want you to buy light bulbs, a light bulb, in a light. And he thought that was the strangest thing ever. And so he went, the Lord led him, and he knocked on every door on his street. And he knocked on the door and he said, Jesus wants to be the light of your life. Well, he didn't know that there was a young man and his father in an argument, a religious debate in their home. And the father was yelling and screaming at the son and said, if there was a God, he would give me something practical. I have to go to the store, I have to go to Home Depot, and I have to go get a pack of light bulbs. All the light bulbs went out. And he said, I have to go get light bulbs. And as soon as he said that, there was a knock at the door. So he goes over to the door, he opens the door. And as he opens the door, there's this young man. And the young man says, Jesus wants to be the light of your life. And he hands him the light bulb. And the father starts crying and receives Christ. Why? Just because he gave him something. He blessed him with something. So servant evangelism is very powerful. Okay? Which brings us to the last one I want to cover here today. And it's mentioned in the book of Acts. And I'll read it to you out of Acts chapter 9. And it's prophetic evangelism. Okay? And so prophetic evangelism we see here in Acts chapter 9. Paul already had an experience with God. Jesus appeared to him, and for 3 days he's been blind. And this is what happens. Verse 10, it picks up. It says, there was a certain disciple. Doesn't say apostle, doesn't say prophet, doesn't say evangelist. He was just a disciple at Damascus named Ananias. And to him the Lord said in a vision, Ananias, and he said, here I am, Lord. And the Lord said to him, arise, go into the street called Straight, inquire the house of Judas for the one of Saul of Tarsus, for behold, he's praying. And in a vision, he's seen a man named Ananias coming in, laying his hands on him that he may receive his sight. Right? Now, there's a number of different words of knowledge that are in that verse, a number of them. Okay, so number one, God spoke to Ananias and said to him, go to the street called Straight. So number one, God showed him the street. Number two, he said to the house of Judas, for one called Saul of Tarsus. So he knew the man's name as well. Number three, he knew he was praying. Number four, he knew he had a vision. And number five, he needed healing for blindness. Okay? So 5 words of knowledge. 5 words of knowledge brought salvation in ministry. Amen? And so it was through that word of knowledge. So there's prophetic evangelism. God can show you exactly who and where. And just through a simple word of knowledge, God can begin to minister to you and show you the secrets of people's heart. It talks about it in 1 Corinthians chapter 14. I think it's like in verse 24 or something like that. And it talks about, and you'll know the secrets of the heart. You'll know the secrets of the heart, or the treasures of their heart. So that's what prophetic evangelism does. You can pray and say, Lord, begin to show me. Now, again, on our website, sharethefire.org, you go to the bottom. There's 3 different kinds of evangelism that we make for you. Number 1 is the pre-program. Number 2, oikos evangelism. 3 is prophetic evangelism. And it was put together at Bethel Church in California, Redding, California. And they called it a spiritual treasure hunt. So we didn't come up with that. That's from Bethel. But a spiritual treasure hunt, what a powerful way to minister to somebody. And I remember this one time I went and I was praying that God would use me and lead me in words of knowledge. And I'm driving down the road, and this was in California, and I just had a thought hit me. I want a raspberry iced tea. And I thought it was the strangest thing. I mean, raspberry iced tea is okay, but I'm not crazy for it. But I'm telling you, I really wanted raspberry iced tea. So I went and I found a gas station, pulled in, and as soon as I